Hello, everybody. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. And we're coming to you on a Monday, the same day as the College Football National Championship game. And if you were not aware, Ohio State currently has a 14-7 lead. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the National Football League. We're going to talk about that divisional round as we saw 4 teams emerge victorious and 4 teams went home with their tails between their legs. I'm David Huppman. Right there is my co-host, Mr. T.J. Hopkins, and we are Prime Sports World. So please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and on the Huddle Sports Network. So you can check us out in all those places. TJ, happy Monday, my friend. How are you?
It's day one of 1,460. We'll just leave it at that. I'm surprised you're not at work, dude. Like, isn't today like super busy for you?
Why?
Normally?
No.
News? No.
No. So I only do local news, man.
Okay, I got you.
I don't handle national stuff at all. We actually broke out of the inauguration to do local news because it went on for way too. It was like all day, dude. Like, yeah. I do a local show. Like, I don't have anything to do with the national stuff at all, which is kind of nice. But yeah, let's talk about the National Football League. Let's start first in the AFC as the Kansas City Chiefs on the road to three-peat knock off the Houston Texans in Arrowhead, 23-14. It's not as black and white as it made it seem. There was a lot of questionable calls, actually just 2 questionable calls in this game. C.J. Stroud, 19-28, 245 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Joe Mixon had a rushing touchdown. He had a pretty solid game. 4.9 yards per carry for that Joe Mixon. Nico Collins, 5 for 81. On the other side, Patrick Mahomes was just good enough to win the game. 16-25, 177 yards and a touchdown. Kareem Hunt had a rushing touchdown. Travis Kelce had a receiving touchdown. He also went over the century mark. Also, that touchdown that they threw was an absolute beautiful play. Patrick Mahomes, as he's going down, finds Travis Kelce in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City. But Kansas City, yeah, they win. A lot of question marks about the 2 roughing the passer call and then the unnecessary roughness call. I mean, we'll talk about that. But in my opinion, in real time, both of those look like penalties. But when you slow them down and you have the opportunity to do replay, they were clearly not. It's tough when you have – we have the technology now that we shouldn't be talking about penalties as like referee human error. Like, we have enough technology where we can step and be like, yeah, that may have looked like a penalty in real time, but it in fact was not, and fix that shit. There shouldn't be like, there's a human, like, that element cannot exist anymore in 2025.
Well, one shout out to Troy Aikman for calling that shit out
on live on air,
live on live TV.
And we need more of that by announcers. Like, if announcers were more willing to put themselves out there and call out officials, like, this would go away in a week, 2 weeks.
And shout out the first take for them finally having the gumption to say something about it. All right, so I was with my oldest sister in Indianapolis over the weekend, and we go to this restaurant called Twin Peaks. Never been. It's awesome. I've
been to Twin Peaks.
So for those that don't know, Twin Peaks is like a mixture of Buffalo Wild Wings and Hooters. It's fucking awesome. And
that's a good analysis right there.
It was a lot of Chiefs fans in this plot. Surprisingly, a lot of Chiefs fans in this establishment, but it was also just a lot of football fans in general. And me and my older sister, we're sitting at the bar. Now, my older sister, she doesn't give a damn about football. She's literally doing this just to entertain me. Like, I'm in town, all the good stuff. But sitting down from us is two other guys, and they're just like, yeah, dude, I hope the Texas win. I'm just tired of Mahomes. I want them to lose. And the touchdown pass to Kelce, the one where he's getting tackled and he just throws it, bro, like the amount, like half the restaurant was like, "Oh, come the f on!" Like seriously, it was just like it was just one of those. It was like you got to be kidding me. It gave the motion of like, hey, when it's your day, it's your day. But unfortunately, you can't have a Chiefs game without talking about the refs, and it's been it's been like that for a long time now. This is their seventh.
I mean, this has got to be the third season in a row we're having conversations like this, but we're not talking about action. We're not even really talking about the action in the game. Like we mentioned that one touchdown, but we spent the first 10 minutes of this
10 minutes,
analysis, 5 minutes, whatever, talking about officiating.
And we're completely ignoring the fact that the defense sacked CJ Stroud 8 times.
Yeah.
We're completely ignoring that outside of that one touchdown that Joe Mixon had, he didn't see the end zone again. We are completely ignoring that. Hey, it's pretty much Nico Collins and the island of the misfit toys and the receiving core.
I mean, on top of that, I mean, we had 14 quarterback hits in this game on CJ Stroud, 9 tackles for loss, 5 pass deflections. Like this defense came out and played their ass off.
And the one thing that we're talking about is the late hit. And again, shout out to Troy Aikman for calling Pat Mahomes out on that, because like, dude, you're running around, you're well past the line of scrimmage. You can't just decide to dance around and then just drop and then you get the flag. Like that's, and to Shannon Sharp's point, he said on First Take this morning, the officials are taught when in doubt, throw the flag. When in doubt, throw the flag. And that's got to change, because at this point, it's almost like the quarterback and the kickers and punters. It's like, no, you're football players too. You can get your ass rocked too.
Yeah, I mean, and then he was kind of searching for a call later in the game
with the flop out of bounds. It's like
going out of bounds. It's pretty obvious.
And thank God they didn't call.
Yeah, I think
that one. It's just like
I think like these conversations need to stop. Like we have the technology where we can go back now and we can take a look at plays and we can like in real time, both of those, I could see it. Like I could see why both of those were considered penalties.
Even in real time, I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, what?
Well, the roughing the pass,
the unnecessary roughness. Like once you pass that line of scrimmage, hey, bro, all bets is off.
I was more referring to the roughing the passer call than the unnecessary roughness call.
The one on Will Anderson. But they also said
it was a bad call. It was his head. He didn't make contact with the head. It was a clearly like in the shoulder played area. But in real time, like if you're behind that play, throwing that flag, that you could see why that's a penalty. But in when you go back and watch the replay, it clearly wasn't, and there needs to be like they oversee everything. Like they have eyes on like, hey, like, and I know they want to make the referees look bad, but we don't need to have these conversations where the integrity of the league is put into jeopardy. Which is, if you go on Facebook, you have those Facebook friends that are like, oh, the NFL's rigged. Oh, here's another proof. It's rigged.
This doesn't help.
It doesn't help. And like when you have an oversee committee, and you can be like, or just somebody be in the eyes, it's like the second set of eyes, like in the TV. I'm a television news producer. I have a second set of eyes on every single video, every single graphic that I create for my show. It's not because I'm not good at my job. It's because it's there just in case I miss something. I'm a human being. It happens. Like, so that I have another producer that like combs through my show real quick and like, hey, make sure there's no typos in a graphic. Make sure videos don't start in black. Make sure there's no flash frames in there. Like, it's not because I'm not good at my job. It's because sometimes I make mistakes. I'm a human being, and I'm okay. I'm okay with like my professional integrity. Like, hey, if I make a mistake, I appreciate being caught as opposed to ending up in the air and then we question us.
Everybody sees it.
Yeah, exactly. So if you have somebody's like, ref, like we kind of saw that, like we kind of see what you want to see in a real time, but like breaking this play down in replay, it's not a flag. Let's get it fixed. And it's a quick conversation, and you don't even have to make the ref look bad. Like, hey, like it can be conversation can be had before the even rationale of the flag. Like they don't have to like be like, oh, hey, we threw this flag for this particular call, but after further review, it's clear it wasn't a penalty.
If you're worried about slowing the game down or anything of that notion, then you have to ask yourself what's more important.
Yep, 100%.
The pace of the game, or you getting this call right, because that Will Anderson call that continues a drive for the Kansas City Chiefs. Does it not?
Yep,
Like, did it not?
and it led directly to a touchdown.
Led to a touchdown.
But
Like, that's tough. Like, that's a tough pill to swallow for a defense.
Let's also not pretend like Kansas City probably would have won this game without the helps of the officials. They were the better football team on this day.
But that's the frustrating. But no, but that's the frustrating part. We're at that stage. We've been at that stage for the Kansas City Chiefs for a while now. It's like, bro, you don't need to quote unquote bail them out. You don't need to do that. This is Pat Mahomes. This is Andy Reid. This is Travis. This is Steve Spagnuolo. Steve Spagnuolo is literally going to go into the Hall of Fame as a defensive coordinator.
100%.
Like, Steve Spagnuolo is literally throwing his name, like he's forcing his name into the greatest defensive coach of all time conversation. He's forcing his name in.
So let's move on from that game because I don't
but
think
once again we're talking about something out of their control.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let's move on from that game because I think we've kind of exhausted all the conversation we can have about that particular football game. Let's talk about the upset of the weekend. Washington Commanders go into Ford Field and they just basically beat down the Detroit Lions, beat them at their own game. And we talked about this a little bit in the group chat. I think the injuries of the Detroit Lions finally came back and kind of nipped them in the butt here. You give up 28 points in the second quarter, and you turn the ball over 5 times. It's just not a recipe for success. That's how you lose football games. Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels, who looked very impressive, very poised, win this game 45-31. Jaden Daniels, 22 of 31, 299 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brian Robinson got it going. He's been quiet for like the last month or so on the ground. 15 for 77 and 2 touchdowns. Terry Scary McLaurin had a touchdown. Zach Ertz had a touchdown. On the other side, just not a good day for this offense. I know they put up 31 points, but you left a lot of points on the board. They threw 2 touchdowns in the red zone, or 2 interceptions in the red zone in this game, including the game-sealing one later. Like, the game was already over at that point, but that sealed the game. Jared Goff, 23 of 40, 313 yards, a touchdown, and 3 picks. Drew Gibbs had 2 touchdowns. Jameson Williams had a touchdown. James Williams also had a pick in this game. And Sam Laporta caught the lone receiving touchdown.
Receivers, I understand that y'all want the highlight play, but I'm not just speaking to Jameson Williams. I'm speaking to every receiver that has to throw a pass on a wide receiver reverse pass play. If it ain't there, don't throw it away. Like, don't
throw it away.
Throw it away. Throw it away.
Throw it in the stand somewhere, like, for real.
Throw it away, or try to get, or like if you're gonna take off and try to get as many yards as possible, just don't. Whatever you just don't throw that pass. I went back because Lions fans, and kind of rightly so. They was talking with their chest out. They was full of air, as the elders like to say. You're full of air. You know what happens when you get full of air, David? You get deflated sometimes. Yeah, bro. Like, you finished this. You went into the game with 13 guys on IR.
I thought it was 18, but either way.
Finished the game. You finished the season with 16. That means guys got hurt during the game and couldn't come back. You finished the season with 16 guys on IR. That means you lost some starters and some key backups, and you were dealing with third string guys in most positions. And I went back and I like the writing was kind of on the wall. We just got lost in them beating team like what they beat Jacksonville 52-6.
Yeah.
Back on like November 17th, and you beat the Colts 24-6. Which is like November, still kind of late in the season. Well, it's late in the season. Then you beat the Colts 24-6, and then you play Chicago on Thanksgiving, and you get up 20-0. Then you only score 3 points the rest of that game. That's good. Great teams see that and be like, "Hold on, wait a minute. Like, this team is struggling, but if they get up 20 on us and we walk them down, oh yeah, we got them." I
mean, I talked about this in the preview. I thought the Commanders had a recipe that could beat the Detroit Lions. I mean, they're a run-heavy football team that can. And Jaden Daniels is way older than his years. I mean, he looks like a poised quarterback in the NFL right now. Like he just looks the part, he acts the part. Like he just is the perfect guy for that offense.
And they only got to him one time, so whoever was spying didn't really do a good job of that. Shout out to that Washington O-line, because every time Aaron Glenn brought the house, they held up, and Jaden Daniels did a better job. He did a great job of getting that ball out of his hands. You see that, Caleb?
I mean, he only got hit twice in the whole game. He only got hit twice, 2 quarterback hits in the entire game. Meanwhile, on the Washington side, I mean, their defense really brought it. I mean, 2 sacks, but they also had 5 tackles for loss, 7 quarterback hits, and they accounted for a touchdown in this game. Like this is a defensive effort, like a really solid effort.
I don't like. I understand the moment, the situation, but I don't like them putting David Montgomery out there. You could definitely tell that David Montgomery wasn't. I don't even think he was 80% ready for this game, but you put him out there, and you probably were better off riding Jameson Williams the whole way. Now, don't get me wrong, like that reverse touchdown to Jameson Williams, that was cold. That was cold. Like that was a punch in the arm that you needed, because you had literally just went. I think he went down 2 scores.
Yeah.
Before that, wait a minute, you were down. Yeah, you were down 24-14. And what's crazy about that is, like, we talked about Pat Mahomes getting the call. Jared Goff didn't get the call, and they said it on. And once again, they said it on national TV. That should have been called. It's still Commander's ball, right? It just negates the touchdown. But who knows what happens? Like, if that pick 6 doesn't get called, maybe Jaden Daniels turns the ball over on that drive. Maybe you get the ball back. Maybe you hold them to 3. Any number of factors could happen, but it didn't go down like that. And then J-Mo rip off that awesome run, so it's 24-21, and then you give up another score. Now it's 31. Now Washington is matching you.
And then I mentioned you throw an interception right before the halftime. I mean, you go in down.
And that was a better play by Sanders still than it was just a bad ball by Jared Goff. I'm giving more credit to Sanders still for making that play than I am for Jared Goff, like throwing the duck or whatever people wanted to say. It's like I picked the Lions to win this game because I legit thought that, hey, Detroit finna be rock.
I mean, it was until it wasn't,
and it was, bro. It was until it won. Like that first drive,
the most expensive ticket in Detroit Lion football history, in Ford Field, most expensive ticket ever.
Like Jesus.
I mean, the Commanders. I mean, not enough can be said about the Washington Commanders. Sam Cosmi, I think, is their starting right tackle or right guard. He's unfortunately going to be done for the season. We'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. But this is a game Commanders team, and they're not going to go quietly.
No, and again, we kind of see these older guys in college. Excuse me, having success.
Moving on from there, let's swing into Sunday, and Sunday was more about escaping than it was anything else. And let's first start in the NFC. The Los Angeles Rams fall to the Philadelphia Eagles 28-22. There was a period of time in this game where it just looked like this game was over. I think it was 28-14. I think it was the score, or 28-12. And this game looked absolutely over. Actually, no, it was 28-15. Sorry. Math is not my strong suit. And this game looked absolutely over. And then the Los Angeles Rams, they score a real quick touchdown. They get a 3-and-out. They get the football back. They have an opportunity to win the game. They're unable to convert on 4th down because Jillian Carter basically shut the door on this offense for the Los Angeles Rams and shut the door on their season. The Eagles win 28-22. Matthew Stafford, 44 pass attempts for Matthew Stafford. I know you're trailing for majority of the game, but that still feels like a lot. 324 yards, 2 touchdowns. Connor Williams had a really costly fumble in this game. Was actually the turning point in the first time that these two teams met in week 13 or something of whatever week it was. He has a costly fumble in this game as well, but he had over 100 yards rushing. Puka Nacua, 6 for 97. Tyler Higbee and Colby Parkinson as the tight ends got involved in the offense. On the other side, Jalen Hurts, he didn't have to do a lot because Saquon Barkley ran for 200 yards again in this game and had 2 touchdowns, including 78-yard touchdown. Jalen Hurts also had a rushing touchdown. Dallas Goedert led them in receiving yards. The Eagles kind of just escaped. They did just enough to win the game.
Skin of the teeth. That last drive, the Puka Nacua catch.
Yeah.
On that last drive, it's like it once again it gave you that feeling like, hey, bro, hey, yeah, go win this. I want chaos. I want the world, and pardon my use of euphemism here, I want the world on fire. I want madness. I want to see one of the top teams in the NFC go home, because I want to see the madness that ensues in Philadelphia. I want to see the Fire Sirianni tweets and trade Jalen Hurts tweets and why did we sign Saquon for it. Like, I want to see all of that when that catch happened. And usually, so when a team goes no huddle on offense, you have the advantage. When that right guard for the Rams false started, game's over.
Mm-hmm.
It was done. Because you want to know why? The Eagles were able to substitute. They were able to get anybody who had their hands on their hips, sucking in air. It's like, hey, yeah, like Jordan Davis, yeah, bro, you gotta come, you gotta come off. Jalen, you go get him. And on the 2 most important plays of the game, you have the false start. Jalen Carter gets a sack, and then Jalen Carter gets another pressure. Game over. All because your starting right tackle or right guard couldn't do his job. Like, bro, you false starting. We got them on the ropes. We got them.
Yep.
Like, so you have to go into this offseason thinking like, damn, bro. Like, if I just hold on just 30 more seconds, and I know it's hard, but if I just don't get sucked into draw like that false start, they don't just draw me in, we could have. Ain't no telling what could have. Because Matt, hey, I'm telling you right now, there's only a few quarterbacks I want to go to bring home a game-winning drive, and the Rams got one of them.
Yep.
Like throwing the ball 44 times in that weather. Matthew Stafford said, "Bro, come on now. Like, it ain't like I ain't played in the cold before. Come on now. I done played outside in Minnesota before that new stadium got built. I done played outside in Green Bay. I done played outside in Chicago. I done played outside in cold weather before. That's why y'all brought me here, because I got the strong arm to throw in this weather. I can do this." Now, on the Eagles side, again, like you said, hey, Jalen Hurts, and I said it last time, like, he don't have to. Like, all he got to do is just enough. All he got to do is basically don't turn the ball over. That's Jalen Hurts right now. You're like, basically the addition of Saquon Barkley has turned Jalen Hurts into a game manager. Don't turn the ball over. That's it. Hand the ball. Like, yeah, now I understand you got your bread and whatnot, but that's on credit to the coaching staff to be like, hey, we got this goddamn Ferrari of a human being in the backfield. We brought him for a reason. Give him the damn ball and get out the way. You threw the ball 20 times. You ran it 34. Yeah. 285 yards on the ground. They were mad because they wanted 300. You got 285, and they were upset. Like, are you kidding me? Like, y'all got 285 yards rushing. Are you happy? No, we wanted 300. What? You're insane. But that's the standard that you hold yourself to. Now, I don't know, but we'll talk about next week, tomorrow. Like, I just think back to that game because didn't they play Jacksonville this season too?
Who?
The Eagles. They did. It was 28-23. Jalen Hurts threw no, it wasn't that. It was a different one. He had a horrible game. It was the Panthers when they played the Panthers. They won. They won 22-16. Jalen Hurts threw for 108 yards. That's it. 100. And it was Eagles fans trade Jalen Hurts. We need a new quarterback. Da, da, da. You're one game away from your second Super Bowl with this man.
Yep. Let's move on to the AFC and talk about surviving, talk about escaping. Buffalo Bills escape against the Baltimore Ravens. 27-25. Some bad plays by Mark Andrews down the stretch of this game. The costly fumble when you guys were driving and had the momentum, and then you basically dropped the chance to tie the game. With Buffalo could have kicked the game-winning field goal. I mean, they had timeouts and whatever, but they weren't really moving the football in the second half. Baltimore had all the momentum. Come up short, 27-25. Lamar Jackson was really good in this game, especially in the second half. I think he was 14-17 in the second half, some crazy numbers. He was just incredibly efficient.
It was incredible. It was incredible.
But Lamar Jackson, 18-25, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Derrick Henry had a long, nice touchdown in this game. Isaiah Likely had a touchdown. Rashad Bateman had a touchdown in the first quarter. On the other side, actually in the first, Bateman had his on the first drive, but Isaiah Likely's came on the game, quote-unquote, tying touchdown. And then Josh Allen, 16-22. He had 2 touchdowns. Ray Davis had a rushing touchdown. Khalil Shakir, 6 for 67. Buffalo just does just enough to survive against Baltimore as they win the game and they move on to take on the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC title game.
All right, so people want to blame Lamar for this loss. True or false, David? A turnover in the first half, while crucial, is not as crucial as a turnover in the second half.
Correct.
True or false? You said correct. So
yeah,
that's
true.
Okay. True or false? It's your best player's job to put his team in the best position to win the game. True or false?
Also true.
Lamar did those 2 things, right?
Yeah.
Of the two turnovers that Lamar Jackson had, only one of them was truly costly, right? The interception, they didn't score on that one.
No.
Right?
Correct.
The fumble really only got scored on because whoever got the scoop had a nice return on it and pretty much set Josh Allen up.
Von Miller got the scoop.
Yeah, Von Miller got the scoop, and you give Josh Allen a short field to work with, and Josh Allen is going to do.
Yeah, I mean the interception turned into a punt. Like they didn't score on that position.
They didn't score. So I'm trying to think that, and Lamar Jackson, like we said, more than canceled out his 2 turnovers. Correct.
Yeah, he was fantastic in the second half. You got to feel for Mark Jackson or Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews. I mean, he's normally a pretty sure-handed tight end and has been a fantastic football player in Baltimore Raven history. I mean, it's just not like him to have 2 plays in the game.
Here's the thing. This 2-point conversion that the Ravens run, they've ran it like 3 times this season. Teams know they're going to run it. Mark Andrews has been open every single time. I legit think he's dropped all 3 of them. He dropped one against the Steelers. I forgot the other game they did it in. I think maybe it was game 1 against the Chiefs. And then they did it the other day. And like you said, like it's the perfect RPO play. Like I can hand this, like, so teams already know, like, hey, we're gonna load the box. Like we're not gonna, like, it's Derrick Henry from 2 yards out, and she's getting a running start. So yeah, we're gonna start there. We're gonna do the contain thing because Lamar could easily just pull it out and then just run around because we're so focused on stopping Derrick Henry. But what's this? It's Mark Andrews just sneaking off to the side, just wide open, and he drops it. And I'm thinking, hey, we gonna have at least, in my head, I'm thinking we gonna have at least OT, or it's gonna come down to the wire because, like you said, there was a lot of time left for Buffalo to do something. But their offense was really, it was some nervous Nellies in Orchard Park.
100%. Hell yeah.
Today. Like I ain't finna sit like, hey, it was 100%. Oh, here we go again. but this time it's Lamar Jackson instead of Patrick Mahomes, and you're thinking like Lamar, you're like, hey, bro, just put the cape on, put the cape on, and damn it, did he put that cape on?
He for sure put that Cam cape
And
on. Let's go.
but it's like there's not and I understand, like, if you're Mark Andrews, like, and I'll say this: if there's anybody not named Lamar Jackson that is allowed to make a mistake or have a bad day at the office, God damn it, it is Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is allowed to have one stinker.
Yeah,
like he's your franchise leader in touchdowns.
Everything I think
Might be a franchise leader in like everything that concerns receiving.
Yeah, for real. Like if it's a receiving stat, Mark Andrews is probably at the top of.
If he ain't right, if he's not the leader, he pretty goddamn close to it. So like everybody's saying Mark Jackson, they making the Wire jokes like, hey, like Snoop out there looking like it's a character on the Wire named Snoop. Like talking about she gonna be looking for Mark Andrews. They doing the Omar whistle. Shout out R.I.P. Michael K. Williams. Like they doing the Omar whistle, like looking for Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is allowed to have a bad day. It sucks that he had a bad day when he had the bad day. That's it. Now Buffalo, on the other hand, but like the fast starts and then you got slowed down. Like the defense you're seeing next week. Like have a couple stalls against them. Have a couple stalls now. Josh Allen, I know the playoffs don't factor into regular season play, but you pretty much sealed up the MVP. Like it like whoever vote.
I mean, they voted way before. I mean,
I
think they might do co-MVPs actually, but
that would be great. That would be wonderful. Like because it's almost like it's a shame. Like, and I wish they did. I wish they would. Like they've only done it once. It's been like 20 years since they've done that.
I mean, they're both deserving of having the MVP this season. Anyways, yeah. I mean, Buffalo. I mean, you gotta. We'll talk more about Buffalo and what they need to do about playing Kansas City tomorrow. But I mean, you didn't play well in the second half of this game, and you've still found a way to win. You gotta take a deep exhale and be like, we escaped this game. Like we didn't deserve to win, and yet we're able to move on because this is a game that Buffalo in other seasons probably loses. I mean, Josh Allen I think has matured a little bit. We saw it on that third down before they kicked the field goal by Brandon Bass. Like you could see him. Tyler, yeah, Brandon Bass. Oh man, that's a deep name there.
That's a pool right there, bro.
Brandon Bass, man.
I ain't heard that name in forever, bro. Like good God.
Anyways. You can see like the wheels in his eyes, like and churning up there. It's like, man, if I could pitch it back to James Cook, he's like, no, I'm just gonna take this. Take it, like this is what it is. Yeah, like that's maturity right there. Like
that's 100%. That's 100%.
Because Josh Allen understood
that. I saw that. If he does that, I'm like, oh, that's good. That is disaster. That would have been disastrous. But Cam Newton brought an interesting point last Friday. He's like, no matter what, he's like, say Buffalo win, say. Whoever wins, whoever loses, he's like Lamar's going to get more criticized for the loss if they lose than Josh Allen would if Buffalo were to lose. Because the whole narrative for Josh Allen has been, no Diggs, no Gabe Davis. He's throwing to a rookie. Like he's throwing to what's left of Amari Cooper. Dawson Knox is taking a step back, and then they got what's the other tight end's name? That's
Dalton Kincaid.
Dalton Kincaid.
No.
Yeah, no, that's it. Dalton Kincaid, like he's young, and it's Josh Allen and the Allen of the Misfit Toys. Bro, James Cook quadrupled his touchdown output. James Cook had 4 touchdowns.
James Cook had 20 touchdowns this season, I think.
Or
something like some crazy number like that.
He had 4 touchdowns for his career coming into the season. He quadrupled his touchdown output in 1 year. But the big thing here with Josh Allen is what was Josh Allen's problem earlier in his play?
Turning the ball over.
For the most part of his career. Turning the ball over. What didn't Josh Allen do a lot of this season? Didn't turn the ball over. But that goes back to your maturity point. It's like, hey, if it's not there, damn it, it's not there. I know, bro. We know you got a cannon for an arm. We know you have a missile. That don't mean you got to throw that motherfucker. Like, come on, bro.
Mark Andrews, before we move on, Mark Andrews, top 3 all time when it comes to receiving yards. The only 2, can you name the 2 guys that are ahead of him?
And Baltimore
Raven all time receiving yards as of December 2024.
Oh my God.
Can you name the 2 other guys that have more receiving yards than Mark Andrews? He may have passed one of these guys, actually. I think he passed one of these guys earlier, like this month.
All right, Shannon Sharp can play there longer. No, so I know it's not him. Plus
Shannon Sharp is like 11th, or 12th.
And he was on there. So think about that. He was 11th or 12th in the era where they literally 10 points again.
Yeah,
10 points won them a goddamn game.
He might be 15. I don't.
I'm trying to who's been there for who was there for a long ass time.
I'll just tell you because I kind of want to move on. Derek Mason is number 1 all time.
Okay. Yeah,
5,700 receiving yards, and the other guy who I think Mark Andrews may have passed this guy earlier this season, Todd Heap, is number 2 all time, who played for the Ravens forever.
Wow.
But yeah, that's been our breakdown, divisional round recap. Thank you very much for joining us. Now we're going to swing into game balls. TJ, I'm going first. I'm giving my game ball to Jaden Daniels for him to go into Ford Field and to quiet that crowd and to put up the kind of numbers that he put up. It just shows the maturity, the poise. Jaden Daniels gets my game ball.
Hey, of course, that was like obvious, bro. Like, I'm gonna take it up a notch. I'm gonna stay with Washington. I'm gonna just say that Washington defense. Hey, I know Saquon did what Saquon does, like 205. Hey, but that Washington defense, five of them. Five
turnovers. 7 sacks. I mean,
nasty work. Wait, hold on. Let me look that up real quick. Just to get the exact number. Still like they outgained you, but a lot of that was garbage time. Yeah. 4 interceptions and a fumble.
2 sacks, and then they also had 7 quarterback hits.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
And then before we get up out of here, we cannot ignore the fact that the Chicago Bears expect to hire Ben Johnson as their next head coach. Let's just do rapid reaction. What is your rapid reaction to that decision? We'll do a big coaching carousel show
when it's all done.
When all the vacancies have been filled. Let's just do rapid reaction. What is your just initial reaction to Ben Johnson being the next head coach of the Bears?
Initial reaction is football people were finally allowed to do football things. I don't know if you read the article I sent to the group chat about Trace Armstrong and his basically commanding hold over the Bears organization. Like, because basically most of his clients just get hired by the Bears. But hey, I'm not faulting Trace Armstrong because hey, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get your clients hired.
Yep.
But the fact that report went out and it did not go the way the McCaskies or anybody associated with the Bears wanted, it's almost like, yeah, we kind of have to pivot. And hey, our franchise quarterback likes this guy. How about we appease him and go get this guy? And also, the number I'm hearing, I don't know if you're hearing any numbers, but the number I'm hearing, the number I saw, was 13 million.
I'm happy with it. I really like the fact that they're going to also have Dennis Allen is expected to be the defensive coordinator. I think Dennis Allen is a fantastic DC. Like, he's not a good head coach whatsoever, but he's an excellent defensive coordinator. Den Johnson is not the guy I would have hired, but I think looking at what he did with Jared Goff, I would have gone Pete Carroll. I think Pete Carroll. I like the idea of having a guy who has the experience of being a head coach and like brings them some moxie and brings in like a fresh kind of like rejuvenated attitude, as opposed to a coordinator who's never been a head coach before. But I like the aggression of this. And Ben Johnson's a good coach. I mean, we'll see what he ends up doing. Like, he gets a young quarterback that he can mold now. And
That's kind of why I like. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's kind of why I like. I think that's why it's important what he does with his staff, and hiring a guy like Dennis Allen to be your defensive coordinator, who in his own right is a veteran. So like you may be young, but surrounding yourself with the right vets is crucial when you're a first-time head coach. Like that's what's beautiful about. That's what's beautiful about it. So like yeah, you get a Dennis Allen. It also depends on like now the bigger question is like, are you calling the plays or are you going to get an offensive coordinator? Y'all going to like tag team that, because like that's what's important. Like that's the next domino.
I'm also seeing $13 million potentially for Ben Johnson, which actually would make him a higher paid coach than Dan Campbell, the guy he just staff he just left. But yeah, we'll be back.
But so like people are complaining. I'm sorry, people are complaining about the number. It's like you do what you have to do to get your guy. If it costs $13 million, it costs $13 million.
I mean, not to mention, head coaches, that doesn't count against the salary cap. If they want to fire him after one season, they can. It doesn't really matter. People want to complain about stuff. Find something different to complain about. Ben Johnson is an exciting hire, and I am interested to see what happens in the future. He should do wonders for Caleb Williams. But yeah, this has been our divisional round recap. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back here tomorrow, giving you our preview on predictions of the championship games. You don't want to miss any of that content, so please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast.
And to the college football fans out there, just to give you a quick update, if you're a Notre Dame fan, look away. If you're a Notre Dame fan, look away. It's 28-7. And Ohio, the way things looking right now, Ohio State probably gonna score again, which is gonna make it 35-7. And yeah, like you said, that's gonna be
all around. We'll be back here tomorrow breaking down those championship games. Don't miss any of that content. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm David Huppin. Right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. And TJ, what do we do? Hit the prime, my friend, and boy, do we need this. Let's go.
We bring the heat, and with that being said, please accept this word from our sponsors. I will holler at you later, David.
Talk to you later, man. Have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow.
Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before. Imagine tuning into real-time discussions, expert analyses, and fan interactions all at your fingertips. Each platform offers a unique experience, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We're not just sharing stories, we're creating a community of passionate sports enthusiasts. Join us as we dive deep into the evolution of podcasting, where every episode is a chance to engage, debate, and celebrate the world of sports. This is where your voice matters and the game never stops. Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before, where sports passion meets podcasting brilliance. I'm Mike, the Bear fan, and alongside Bill, the Packer fan, and our buddy Ken Catalone, we're bringing you an incredible lineup of 38 diverse podcasters. Each one brings their unique flavor to the table, covering everything from game analysis to behind-the-scenes stories. Imagine diving deep into the minds of experts who live and breathe football, sharing insights that you won't find anywhere else.